I flew to Italy to play Brook in a treasure cup. So I actually got sent a custom Brook playmat as well as custom Don by two separate viewers, which was really kind of them. And so I wanted to pay them back, and I thought I would, at the very least, showcase it on my channel. The custom Don was created by a guy called Ducks Assassin, and I have his link in my description. So if you guys want to check his stuff out, you can use code Sentinel26 for a 10% discount. The playmat was sent by a viewer called Terra, and I also have his link in the description. If you use my link, you get a 15% discount, I believe. The playmat is super high quality and it was really cool to play on. Both of these viewers just sent this to me for free without me asking, and I thought this would be like, at the very least, this would be a nice way to pay them back. I don't know if this counts as a sponsor or not, maybe it does. But yeah, I just thought this would be a win for everyone. They get exposure, I get free stuff, and you guys can buy some cool products. So going into game one, we play against an army. I was actually super nervous for this game, but I like the Nami matchup, so I was pretty happy to see this. And Nami was actually the most popular deck at the tournament by far. The majority of players were playing Nami, and it seemed like the Italians actually really preferred the Nami over the over NL. Which is great for us because that meant there weren't many NLs. And so, yeah, game one, I win dice, I go first, I see our perfect curve, which is, Chopper into Docking 6, into Nightmare Luffy, and then on my first Nami play, I bring out the Secret Rare Luffy, and actually my opponent was super bricked, so he was forced to go for game, which I easily countered out of, and then, yeah, he just conceded, because on the swing back, I would have won. And so I ended up winning in like 10 minutes. It was a super quick game and it was a great game one. After the game, my opponent was like talking to the people around us in Italian, and they were having like the super serious conversation, and the only word I understood was Brook. So I'm sure he was just like venting his frustrations. I mean, like, you're playing Nami and then game one you lose to some bullshit. Like, I would also be upset. I think I was like one of the only two Brook players at that tournament, so there's obviously no way he practiced this matchup or prepped for it. And yeah, really solid game one. I was super happy with that, and I think definitely helped with the nerves a bit, but it was still a long day ahead, so I was still pretty nervous if I'm being honest. And so going into game two, I unfortunately got really unlucky, and I paired against a Mihawk, which really sucks for me. Mihawk is one of Brook's counters. Unfortunately, he does get the plus 1000 because we are a slash leader, and on top of that I lost dice, so I was forced to go first. Even though Brook's first curve is stronger, in this matchup I prefer to go second. There are a few reasons for that. One is because the extra Dawn really helps pinging 6k into our opponent, while still being able to play curve. Two, the Mihawks have been dropping the 7-cost Shanks recently, and so their first curve really isn't as scary anymore. What's scary is the 6-cost Law and the Law Beppo, and so giving them the even curve means they can play all of that stuff on curve, and that really sucks. And then finally, if we go first, our opponent can actually play the 5-cost Bonnie on our 7 Don play and freeze a Don, so we can't play the Nightmare Luffy anymore on curve. And so yeah, given all those reasons, I definitely prefer going second in this matchup. Unfortunately, I lost dice and I had to go first, and unfortunately my opponent played back-to-back 6-cost laws and then played 3 law Beppos back-to-back, and I had no chance of winning. Actually, what ended up happening was I played Nightmare Luffy and then I played my 8-cost Nami, and I swung 12k into my opponent's face really early on with my Secret Rare Luffy, because I wanted to put pressure on him and he was wide open, so I thought, why not? He actually ended up taking the hit and dropping down to 0 life on turn 4, and so I was pretty happy. But then I noticed my opponent has 3 blockers on board. He left 3 Don active every turn, and he just kept dropping Law Beppo, Law Beppo, Law Beppo, and freezing my Nightmare Luffy. And so he had 3 blockers, 3 Don active, 14 cards in hand, and he was like an 8k leader. It was impossible to go for game, and he was doing this every single turn. There was even a turn where I played the Usopp to try rest one of his blockers, and then I'll DMG the other 2 blockers, so at least I have a chance to go for game. But my opponent played it super well, and he just never swung, and so I could never get value from the Usopp. And what ended up happening was I actually decked out. I drew the last card in my deck, so I was forced to go for game, and my lethal didn't connect. So yeah, really unfortunate loss. I was now 1-1, and it was a really long game, so kind of sad. I feel like Mihawk wasn't super popular in this tournament, so to find it so early on, I was definitely quite sad about that. I feel like, yeah, got a bit unlucky with that matchup, but it is what it is. We're only X1. There's still a long tournament ahead of us. And so, yeah, going into game 3, I play against a Gecko. I think this is a great matchup for Brook. The trick is to just not swing into Gecko until you play Nightmare Luffy on curve. And so we won dice. We ended up going first, and the game went pretty much to plan. My opponent unfortunately did not see the Perona when he needed to freeze my Secret Luffy. And by the time he saw a Perona, it was too late. My Luffy got too much value, and I won the game pretty convincingly. And so, yeah, we're now at 2-1. And yeah, things are looking better. And going into game 4, we actually end up playing an ace, which is another matchup I have a lot of practice into. So definitely felt pretty comfortable in this matchup. I actually ended up finding a really creative lethal with the 6-cost Brook for this game. My opponent had a 10-cost Whitebeard and a 4-cost Marco on board, and he had like 8 cards in hand. And so I played the 6-cost Brook from hand to freeze the Marco, and then I split my Don really well to play around the blocker beard so that he doesn't get too much value from the block. And we actually ended up having almost a perfect lethal. My opponent dropped his entire hand and our lethal connected. And so yeah, it was super satisfying to win. My opponent was actually a really nice guy. He's from Luca, and so I asked him after the game like what to do in Luca. He didn't really speak English, so I used Google Translate. But yeah, it was just cool to meet other people and have a nice conversation. I feel like at tournaments like this, people are normally really serious and, you know, really locked in. So yeah, definitely nice to meet him, and it was a fun game. Really fun lethal as well. So yeah, all in all, great game. We're now 3-1, so I'm feeling great. We're on a win streak, won 2 games in a row. And so going into game 5, we see another Nami. I'm pretty happy when I see Nami. I think this matchup is, you know, I'm pretty comfortable in this matchup. We end up losing dice and going second, but to be honest, I think it makes no difference. I think regardless of whether you go first or second, the matchup is pretty much the same. We played Nightmare Luffy off our first 8-cost Nami play, and then we played the Secret Luffy off the second, and we just pressure our opponent. And yeah, it was a pretty straightforward game. We end up winning, and actually with this game I really wanted to win, because when I first sat down, my opponent saw us playing Brook and he kind of smirked, like he probably thought it was like a free win. And you could tell he was the kind of player who's like super serious, like no fun allowed kind of player. So I really wanted to win. Yeah, I think after the game, after I won, he looked so pissed. He looked like he didn't even want to look at me. It felt like I just robbed him, you know, like he thought it was a free win and I just took his money. And yeah, he didn't even want to fist bump me. It was like the most reluctant fist bump ever. So I kind of just left after the game, but it felt super satisfying to beat him. I love beating players who get salty. I think it's like a guilty pleasure. Because, I mean, I play One Piece for fun, but I do completely understand that you can win a lot of money at these tournaments. And so, yeah, people take it super seriously, understandably. So, yeah, it was a good win. It was a good win, is what I can say. And then, yeah, going into Game 6, unfortunately, you know, I'm feeling great up to this point. I've just won 3 games in a row. I'm now 4-1. My tournament's looking great. Unfortunately, Game 6, I pair into a crocodile. Yeah, I was not expecting this matchup. I have very little practice into it, and to be honest, I just assumed we win because all our characters have plus cost. I end up losing dice and going second, and I get completely smoked. Like, it's not even close. I have no idea what happened. He just played the 7-cost Robin. I think it's Robin. And then he played Crocodile. He froze my Nami, popped the Crocodile to freeze my Nightmare Luffy. And then he just kept chaining that every turn. He played 3 8-cost Crocodiles back to back to back. And he always left 2 Don active for event cards. So I could never go for game. And from start to finish, I was completely shut out of the game. There was no chance for me to even like attempt to win. It felt completely unwinnable, which is so crazy that I wasn't aware that a matchup like this exists. I have very little practice into the Croc matchup, so yeah, it was really sad to lose like this. Like, I wasn't expecting it at all. And Crocodile was definitely not a very popular deck, right? Like, of course, people play Crocodile the same way they play Mewhawk, but you know, again, it's like a small percentage. So yeah, pretty sad to lose that. I'm now X2, and I think once you're X3, there's like, you pretty much can't win anything. So I only have 1 more life left. And I tried to reset for the next game, but Game 7, I pair into another crocodile. Like, I think I this isn't League, sorry. I think I paired into the only 2 crocodile players at that tournament or something. I don't know. Like, I know people play that deck, but I know it's not that popular. So it was so sad to play 2 crocs back to back, and I lost dice for both of them. I went second for both of them, and I lost them both in the same way. Which is so sad. In fact, in the second croc game, my opponent misplayed. He forgot he can't freeze my Nightmare Luffy because it's 17, cost 17. Like, he has to cost reduce it first and then freeze it, but he didn't do that. And he still won. Like, it wasn't even close. I have no idea how to play this matchup. I had no idea it was this hard. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I probably am doing something wrong. But yeah, it just felt completely unplayable, which is so random. And just like that, I went from being 4-1 to 4-3 in literally the blink of an eye. And my tournament's just over now. I think when you're X3, you might be able to go top 128, but otherwise your tournament's just over. And so I was super sad because I was beating all the top decks, and then I lost to Crocodile and Mewhawk. And yeah, I don't know, it just felt really upsetting. But I decided to play on because someone said there's a chance you can still win even if you're X3, or like still come top 128 if you're X3. And for Game 8, I play an L. Yeah, like finally, right? Like, just a nail in the coffin. And I lose dice, of course, and I go second again 3 games in a row. I think 4 games in a row even I lost dice. And yeah, of course I got shut down really quick and the game was over. I was actually playing against another guy from London, so we were just yapping the whole time because at this point we're both X3. I think people are definitely a lot less serious with this kind of, like, you know, at these tables. So yeah, it was a fun game. We were just yapping, but it does suck to lose 3 games in a row like this. You know, I was 4-1, and just like that I became 4-4. So yeah, very depressing, unfortunately. For Game 9, my opponent actually didn't show up, but luckily the person sitting next to me's opponent also didn't show up, so we ended up just playing against each other. He was playing Nami, and I ended up winning again. I think pretty much all 3 games my opponents played differently. I think Nami has 2 ways of playing the matchup, and I think we win both ways. And I definitely will make a matchup guide for Nami if you guys would be interested in that, if she's popular in OP16, because I think I've pretty much solved the matchup. I think I don't want to say that and then lose to Nami, right? But I feel comfortable into the matchup is what I want to say. And yeah, game 3. This is my 3rd time playing against Nami today. Not game 3, sorry. This is my 3rd time playing against Nami today, and we win again. So yeah, we end with a record of 5-4, which kind of sucks. Like I feel like it could have gone so much better, you know? Like I feel like I was doing really well, and then all of a sudden my tournament was just over. So definitely sucks to lose like this. And it definitely sucks that all of my losses were to decks that, like, you know, they're not even really on your radar. Like I lost to Mihawk, which is fair enough, but then I lost back-to-back games against Crocodile. Like, what, bro? Like, how am I pairing into Crocodile 2 games in a row? How am I losing dice 2 games in a row? And it is what it is. I feel like when people have bad tournaments, they always make like a million excuses, and I'm not trying to be that guy. But yeah, it was just unlucky, I guess. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. I feel like I played pretty well that day. Like, I feel like I was on point. I was playing quickly. I didn't go to time on any of my games, and I don't really, like, thinking back, I don't really think I made any big mistakes I regret. So all of my losses were kind of just like, it is what it is, right? Like I felt like I couldn't really do anything. So I'm not too mad about this tournament. In fact, I think I'm actually really happy with how it went. For a first tournament, I was super nervous, and I ended up having a lot of fun. I actually met a lot of you guys, which definitely made the entire tournament for me. It was so cool seeing you guys in real life, and I actually even signed someone's Brook leader, which is so crazy. Like, I mean, that is really insane. I mean, this channel is still so new and it's still so small, so yeah, it was really cool to see you guys, and I appreciate that guy investing early. I hope one day that card's worth something, because it's definitely worth less after me signing it, mate. So sorry about that, but yeah, hopefully one day you make money on that. I actually signed it in pen as well, so you can't even see my signature. I genuinely just vandalized the card. Like, it's not even a signature. But yeah, overall, I actually had a great time at this tournament. It was really fun, and for a first tournament, it definitely broke the nerves. And so going forward, I'm going to try to go to as many tournaments as I can. And I think it's just a great way to travel the world. It's just a good excuse to get around. And so, yeah, looking forward to that. It was my first time in Italy, and I had such an amazing time. It's such a beautiful country, and the people are so nice. And so I thought I'd end this video with just like a tiny montage of my trip in Italy. And going forward, I'm now fully focused on OP16. My next video will be an OP16 Brook video. So if you guys are interested in that, please subscribe. And yeah, with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.